Hello, welcome back to the channel. It is a new month. It is the end of a month, which normally I get my stuff usually like mid-month. I don't know what was going on with the postage, but these all came rather late. I was seeing a lot of people on Instagram getting theirs much sooner than me, so finally it's time that I can see. I have been spoiled, but I also have no memory. So I vaguely know what some of these things are, but I honestly don't remember most of them. So it's still going to be fun and shocking for me either way. We also have an edition of a quarterly owlcrate horror, which I have canceled. I like the picks perfectly fine, but there's a lot of overlap with Evernight. I'm keeping Evernight at this moment because I want to get a copy of Japanese Gothic. If that's what this is, I'm gonna be annoyed with myself and I might just cancel Evernight and call it a day. But I like the horror picks. I think that they are absolutely gorgeous and stunning additions. I never have an issue with the look of them. I just have not been enjoying a lot of the horror picks, and I can always, get back on the waitlist later down the road, or like in owlcrate's blank, I can't think of the word. In owlcrate's case, they often have overstock that will be available on the website. So if there's something I'm really wanting, then I can probably get it later. So that's kind of just like my overall thoughts, because horror is not quite as popular as like all the fantasy books. So let us get started with our first little horror pick. Is this that one book? I think it is. I think this book has had a lot of promo, but the cover looks so different that I'm not sure off the top of my head. This is really pretty though. So here we have The Body by Bethany C. Morrow. Wow. God. Guys, I'm already having like instant regret for canceling the subscription. This is the problem with book subscriptions. They're so pretty. Like, what do you mean? Of course I'm gonna have FOMO. Look at those edges. Truly, like, such a beautiful parting book. I'm so sad to leave the subscription now. I'm so bummed. By my own choices. All right. Sinner or not, no one is coming to save her. Mavis broke from her parents' congregation years ago, but she still hasn't recovered. Their impossible expectations and soul-shredding critiques have dug deep into her mind, and she's haunted by the knowledge that even when she's done nothing wrong, she'll never be right. Now, Mavis is afraid she's about to lose the only thing she has, her husband, Jared. The man she's always known was too good to be true. No one thinks she deserves him, not even after surviving the serial cheater they wanted her to stick by, and soon they all find out they were right. Mavis is already unraveling when a brush with death shows her what real fear looks like. Soon she's under constant attack from all direction. As the assaults turn increasingly vicious and bizarre, Mavis realizes that hell isn't reserved for the afterlife. Okay. I do think that this is the book with the shovel on the cover that's getting like a lot of promo. So if I am right about this, this isn't a book that I would have picked up for myself. I do think this is a really pretty edition, so I do hope that I like it, but I think it was maybe a book of the month or artwork. It was some other like monthly subscription, and I chose specifically to not get it because I was like, it's fine. It sounds like a domestic thriller. It sounds like it's going to have like news, media, social media potential and like the threats, which isn't like my personal favorite. It could really go a lot of ways. The synopsis doesn't give too much away. So it's definitely one that I will read. It's definitely on the shorter side. And again, this is a gorgeous copy. So I'm definitely interested in picking it up. I just don't know if it's going to be the right book for me, but we'll have to wait and see. I do think that gorgeous, gorgeous edition can be a little face out though. And then we can move forward into the owlcrate adult fantasy. Okay, we've got a repeat from last month, but that's okay. There is definitely a theme for owlcrate this month. They're really feeling this metallic red. But anyways, we've got The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. I actually have right next to me last month's pick for illumicrate. So if you want to see this a little bit more up close and personal, you can watch last month's video. But I will read you guys the synopsis in case you don't remember what this is. I do think this is actually a pretty cover. I do like this art style and design. It's very one note, which is like interesting. They've been doing this a lot where they pick like one color and it's just very strong. Like last month it was 2 blue books. Now they seem to be really into the red. Power is such a wicked thing. Let me read to you what this is about. In the waning years of the Azalea dynasty, the emperor is dying, the land is consumed by famine, and poetry magic is lost to all except the powerful. Wei Yin is desperate. After the 5th death of a sibling, with her family and village on the brink of starvation, she will do anything to save those she loves. Even offer herself as a concubine to the cruel, dissolute heir of the blood-glutted Azalea house. But in a twist of fate, the inner court stands on the knife edge of civil war, with Wei now at the center, as the prince's chosen. To survive, Wei must harden her heart, rely on her wit, and become dangerously herself, even if it means learning the art of poetry magic in secret. In a world where women are forbidden to read, in wielding the most powerful spell of all, a ballad of death and love. I do think this synopsis gives less away compared to the illumicrate one that I had. I think like the full synopsis is that potential love triangle between her, the prince, and his brother, who is like less cruel. I might also be totally confusing this with another book, so if so, sorry, but I know that she has to learn this like magical poem that could end the prince's life, but she also has to like kind of fall in love with him to be able to do it. So I am intrigued by the story. I actually purchased an audiobook copy on Libro FM with one of my credits, so I'm very intrigued. I've heard really great things about this. Like, everybody seems to be raving about this book, so I definitely want to get to it before like summer if possible, like in the next couple of months ideally, because I'm just so fascinated by it. I really love the idea of poetry magic. I really hope that the writing in here is beautiful and like, you know, has that poetic feel to it and like maybe has some nice poems. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Once I read it, I can decide whether or not I want to keep both copies or sell one or sell both. If I don't like the book, we'll wait and see, but it is nice to, you know, have pretty editions to look at. I don't necessarily love getting duplicates. That's one downside to having owlcrate versus illumicrate and fairyloot, is you just don't know when there's going to be overlap unless you're looking at all the spoilers. But even then, you only have so many skips sometimes, or you don't see it soon enough, and so you can't skip anyway, and all of the behind the scenes that go on all the time. But now we can swiftly move right along into the young adult owlcrate box, the last in this little section. The first thing that I'm seeing is a Phantom of the Opera book pot. Oh, I'm so excited. I have read Phantom of the Opera. I love the musical, especially the movie adaptation with Gerard Butler, because I just love him and his voice. I adore it. Did not adore the book. Which I know is like, how dare she like the movie more than the book? But like, I find that hot take is common for me. I do often like a movie equally or more than the book itself. I guess it just depends on like my feelings towards the book. If I didn't love the book, oh boy do I love the movie, you know? But anywho, it is very Phantom of the Opera, exactly as promised. Says on the back, let your soul take you where you long to be. I like these book pots. I truly have too many at this point. Like, I don't know what to do with all of them. Like, I have 2 up there, another pot there, another pot up there, a mug there, a mug there, a mug there, a pot. Like, there's too many pots. I don't know what to do with all these pots. I, like, do not grow plants. I cannot stress that enough. I do not grow plants. So I'm like, what do I do with all these? I am just throwing bookmarks around, but I do not have that many bookmarks, so I never know what to do with these, you know? But I do have a Phantom of the Opera, like, dedicated little musical shelf, so I'll definitely go there. Next up, we have the Fantasy Artist Markers, featuring quotes from The Night Circus, The Hunger Games, The Scorpio Races, A Deadly Education, and The Prison Healer. I have read all but 2 of those books. Oh wow, they're just like full markers. Ooh, how interesting. Okay, can you see the colors? They look like they're going to be alcohol markers, like if you've heard of Copic, or I have who markers, but we've got a fine nib point, and then on the other side it's probably going to be a chisel nib. My goodness, yeah, chisel nib on the other side. So that's fun. I don't honestly use the chisel nibs nearly as much as I probably should. I'm more of a fine tip or brush marker kind of gal, but I'm all for getting art supplies. I think that these muted colors are very nice. I don't see myself using the yellows a whole lot, but I do think it's a pretty palette at the very least. Oh my god, I can put those markers in the book pot. Ooh, okay. We've got the pin. This is the Blades of Love, pin 2 of 5. And this here is inspired by Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Not my favorite thing ever, but like, it's fine. I get it. She's gonna get her bag. Publishers are gonna push for her. I'm surprised with all the controversies that are going around, from an AI book getting pulled from being traditionally published because of the claims and accusations, while other authors are like openly using AI and getting Book of the Month deals, and it's like no big deal. But yet you got somebody who's like being accused of plagiarism, and a lot of people are seeing a lot of like, you know, direct similarities, and like, this book is fine. It's just interesting. It's just interesting. That's all I'm going to say. It's just interesting climate to be watching things happen. Next up here, we have a owlcrate bookish tarot designed by Sayer Art. Is it just like a singular card? Is that what we're doing? Okay. I wonder if this is going to be like a new collection that they have started. No. Surely not. Okay, so we have 3 little tarot cards. The first one that we have is the main character. And I wonder if we're supposed to color these with those markers, and that was the point. Next up, we have the librarian. And finally, we have enemies to lovers. I think this is a fun idea, like a very fun concept. I don't know if I would trust myself to actually like color them though. So I don't know, but I like the gold like foiling and everything as well. They're very cool. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing like more of these and like having a complete collection. It does seem like they're very much straying from like the traditional Arcana deck, but I do think it's kind of fun. And our last bookish item is an apron? Yes. It does not smell super great, but it's a little, it looks very Night Circus-esque with a little pattern, but it's a not very good smelling cooking apron with 2 little front pockets here, but it's like soft material, which is very interesting. It says, "The finest of pleasures are always the unexpected ones." So that's fun. It is inspired by the Night Circus, go me, and was designed by Lichen and Limestones. I don't know realistically if I would use this. I feel like because I do reading vlogs, it would be fun to have like a cooking segment and I wear it just like for the giggles, not so much for like serious notes. The like the soft front is a very interesting choice to me because like your cooking apron is inevitably going to get dirty or messy at some point. And I know you can wash it, but it's just like, why make it soft? Why not keep it all like a canvas material? Anyway, last we have the book. I'm actually kind of happy to have a physical copy of this. I actually just finished reading this last couple days ago. And it is A Sage Set for Villains by Shannon J. Span? I really like the vibe of this. It's honestly giving a lot of like the movie musical adaptation Moulin Rouge, which I think is very fun. I like this vibe. If you don't know, I have a shelf down here that's like all carnival, circus, musical theater vibes and stories, and I love this shelf. I really want to move this shelf back into my living room, like to have as like the focus center shelf. This fits so well on this shelf. It is like meant to be there. It is beautiful, gorgeous. I love it. This book is an agglomeration. This book is a mix of so many of my favorite 5-star books. Like I truly like, here's a list of the books that within the first like 11% I had been taking notes being like this. I was just reminded of so many books whilst reading this, and I do think to some degree that kind of ruined my experience because I was so thinking about all these other fantastic books instead of just like really diving into this. I definitely recommend this, and I do think that I might enjoy it further on a reread, knowing how it ends and like being able to see more clues along the way. I think that'll be interesting. I think this is going to be set up for at least a trilogy, if not a duology. So I definitely see myself rereading it. I did have a lot of fun with it. I think my biggest issue with it was with the characters. I never really felt strongly connected to or like cared so much about their journey, but let me read to you what this is all about so that you can get hyped for it if you're interested. The gods are dead. All that's left are the players. The performers of the playhouse are as worshipped as they are feared. Their enchanting shows bending hearts, minds, and even reality itself. Vicious, godlike, lethal. 18-year-old Riven Hesper has known the dangers better than anyone, after her own encounter with a player resulted in a curse that is slowly killing her. When the Playhouse announces the spectacle of a lifetime, a chance for one mortal to steal the player's immortality, Riven sees her last chance to live. Desperate for answers, she infiltrates the competition. There she finds Jude, the Playhouse brilliant, merciless lead player, whose charm is as dangerous as his craft, and strikes a deadly bargain to save her life. But with time running out and the Playhouse's secrets unraveling into a disturbing picture, Riven faces a grim possibility. She might not be the hero of her story after all. In fact, she may be the villain, because the Playhouse doesn't just tell stories, it rewrites them, and Riven's might end in blood. Caraval meets One Dark Window in this lush and dark fantasy. I'll be honest, I had a lot of comp titles for this. Not one of them was One Dark Window. Not a single little bit of this book was giving me One Dark Window. It was giving Phantasma, Caraval, so many other things. Never once was I like, oh yeah, this reminds me of the dark gothic tarot magic book. No. Disagree with that. With all that out of the way, we can jump into the fairy loot boxes now. This first box is the romantasy and fantasy. I knew what this was going to be because Covers with Cassidy had mentioned it, but it's the Demon Hunters. Cassidy explains this book as the Winx Club meets Shadow Hunters? No, maybe? I can't remember anymore. But we have Half City by Kate Golden. I'm very excited for this. This is an author that I've been interested in a while and just like haven't gotten around to. Keep your daggers sharp and your wits even sharper. I'm very excited to read this, mainly because Covers with Cassidy really talked it up. She was having such a ball with it at the beginning of Realmathon, so I too am now very excited for it. Like, look at that. That's so pretty. Let me read to you what this is all about. Welcome to Harker Academy for Deviant Defense. Keep your dagger sharp and your wits even sharper. Viv Abbott is an average 21-year-old girl. She lives in an expensive city where the rent is too high, works long hours at a thankless job, and is dating a guy she doesn't even like in the hopes of winning her prickly mother's approval. She also happens to be a demon hunter. Ever since her father's murder, she's been forced to hunt deviants alone, meaning everyone, including her family, sees her as an outsider, until the day she crosses paths with a dangerously alluring demon, Reed Graveheart. The reformed deviant tells her of a school of people like her, Harker Academy for Deviant Defense. If she enrolls, she'll learn to hone her craft, work with other hunters, and never be alone again. But Vi has a deadly secret. One that not even her new friends at Harker can know about. Not if the school might hold her answers to untangle the mystery surrounding Vi's father's death. When strange occurrences begin to plague the students, Viv will have to figure out who she can trust, all while trying to ace her classes, avoid falling for a demon, and making it through her first year at Harker in one piece. How hard could that be? Ah! I'm really excited for this. It just seems like a really fun book, a fun romantasy. I'm all into this kind of stuff. To literally nobody's surprise ever, I think the couple looks great on the cover. I am nervous that this might feel a little bit young for an adult romantasy just because this is an author who's written young adult prior, but either way, I am excited. It's definitely thicker than the other edition that I have just because the font is so large and the margins are so much bigger. I'm very excited to read this. I actually got my audiobook from Everand so that I would read this sooner rather than later. Oh my goodness. Oops, all face outs. My goodness, we don't have space for anything else. This is the adult fantasy box, Forbidden Bargains. I'm really excited for this book as well. I didn't realize that we'd be getting this, honestly, but I can't wait. This was on my most anticipated releases for 2026. This is Weaving Shaw by Herba Al-Wasiti. I don't know if I like this cover. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that it's very cool in tone and just like graphic and everything. But like the original cover is just like this beautiful rich red burgundy kind of color that I kind of wish that we had, but I won't get too upset. It is still very pretty. Oh my goodness. Oh, so cool. I like that it's very like on theme. Like everything matches with each other. It's all the same gray scale with like gold accents. I do think that's very cool and very nice. Nothing this lovely could be cursed. The Saint of Silence trades coins for every sordid divulgence uttered to him. The darker the secret, the higher the price. Lena has a secret, one that has haunted her since she was 17. She can see the dead. But when her brother falls ill, she knows what she must do. Seek the saint. But Lena's secret is more valuable to the saint than she could have imagined. To save her brother, she must make a deal with him to find the ghost he's searching for. All paths lead to Weaving Shaw, a cursed estate on the moors. As Lena grows closer to the Saint Silas, and she is plunged further into his world of danger, deceit, and desire, she learns that he's hiding his own secrets, ones that have the power to destroy them all. I am very excited and intrigued. This definitely feels like it's still going to have romantic elements. It kind of reminds me of The Deathless One by Emma Hamm in some ways. So I definitely like the idea of like, you know, making you deal with a powerful deity. What's more classic romantasy than that? So I am interested to see how this might diverge from romantasy, seeing as it is a fantasy pick. I think a lot of people get really annoyed with these book subscription boxes because you're getting the adult fantasy. I know it's not the epic fantasy from Fairyloot, so it's like a little bit different. Those ones are true fantasy to its core, but I do wonder how many people buy the adult fantasy pack and then get annoyed with how much of it is actually also romantasy, but I won't complain. I do love romantasy. I'm very excited to have this on my shelf. It's not my favorite cover. I might switch it for the reverse dust jacket that's a little bit more true to the actual cover, even though it's not the beautiful red. It does fit the style and aesthetic, which I do really appreciate when a book commits to a color scheme. But overall, pleased and excited for this one. We have a very aesthetic looking bunch over here. Like Weaving Shaw is maybe the most odd one out, but it's still like in the same grayscale where everything else is just very deep red, and enjoying that. All right, now we can jump into the young adult with all the goodies from Fairyloot. So the first thing that I'm seeing here is a little jewelry box. I think these are cute and nice. I honestly have two and they're completely full, so I never complain. It doesn't open very well, so I never complain with getting more I just don't really have a lot of jewelry, so I don't have a lot of use for these compared to a lot of other people, but I'm also just like bad at putting jewelry on. Like I wear the same necklace every day. I wear the same earrings almost every day, but they're cute, they're nice, they're pretty, sure. The next thing I'm seeing is a Heavenly Bodies water bottle designed by Anne Ewan Art. I knew that I would love the aesthetic of this water bottle because I love the aesthetic of Heavenly Bodies. We actually got a fairyloot romantasy special edition from them a while ago now, and I have read it. I also read the sequel. There's going to be, I think, a third book. Hopefully it ends at a trilogy. I think it's a fine series, but I do think that the aesthetics of it, gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Stunning. Beautiful. I love it. So I can definitely see myself using this to defy the stars. Oh, I defy the stars. That makes more sense. I just get super nervous. These are not something that you can rinse in your dishwasher. The decal on it really does not stick or last very long. So you have to be really careful when you wash it. But if you're just using it for water and do like light rinsing with some soap, you're good. But I do think this is maybe my favorite water bottle design that we've gotten in a hot minute. The next thing we have is the Sun and the Star Maker friendship keychain. I'm really not a keychain person. I just don't like them. I have one keychain on my key ring and it's a Kingdom Hearts Mickey Mouse and that's it. I had a Goofy. His head popped off. I need to super glue him back on. But these are very pretty, very aesthetic and gorgeous. I am the sun, you are the Star Maker. I like the design a lot. If I had a friend that I shared keychain with, I would definitely see appeal. If I was younger, 16, getting this box and this was in, I'd be like, oh, yes, me and my bestie. I would of course want to keep the Star Maker part, but I do like the colors of the Sun Maker. Oh, and then we got the spoiler card finally. This is a Starlight Magic. I'm sure we can guess what book it's gonna be, but before we get there, jewelry box, water bottle. Did we lose an item? Interesting. We've got the bookmark for the month. Very simple, very nice. I kind of like that it's not a character design and it's just like a very simple winterscape. I actually would get a lot more use out of this kind of styled bookmarks. And then we have the collectible tarot cards. They're gorgeous. Look at them. So here we have the Star Maker as the star and we have Aurora as the Tower card. I just think they're so pretty. Very much into the vibes. Very much excited for this book. Let's do book next, then overlays, or overlays first? Let's do overlays first. I really appreciate that fairyloot has been doing so many overlays lately. I think that it really makes a full circle moment with getting to know the story and just like really having such cohesive boxes where it's like you get the tarot card, you get the overlay, you get the book, you get 2 to 3 items kind of designed around the story, and I just think that makes for, again, very cohesive box, and I do appreciate that. I think these characters are very cute, obviously. There's some romance going on. I also just really trust Rachel Griffin, and I have really enjoyed her young adult books. This one definitely feels so different from her like original 3, Nature Witch, Bring Me Your Midnight, and Wild as the Witch, like very Pacific Northwestern witch books. And now you've got this, which just feels so much more high fantasy than we're used to from her. But I trust her completely. Like, I think this is going to probably be a slam dunk. I'm very excited. This was an Libro FM ALC option as well, so I'm just like really excited to get to it. I'm glad that I kind of held off until I could have the book in my hand. Do I like this cover? In comparison to the original, not really. No, I kind of wish that it was more colorful. I like that we're playing into like the wintry vibe of it, but I like the colors. I want more of the colors. Anywho, with that said, I can read you guys the synopsis. Once upon a time, the sun fell in love with the Star Maker. Nestled deep in the snowy mountains of the Lost Range, the village of Reverie is a small miracle. Beyond the reach of the sun, Reverie is dependent upon the magic of the mysterious Star Maker. Every morning, he trudges across the vast glaciers and pulls the sunlight over the peaks, providing the village with the light it needs to survive. Aurora Finch grew up on the tales of the Star Maker's magic, never imagining she'd one day meet him. But on the morning of her wedding, a fateful encounter in the frostbitten woods changed everything. The Star Maker senses a powerful magic within her and demands she come study under his guidance. With her newfound abilities tied to the survival of the village, Aurora is swept away to his ice-covered castles and far from everything she's ever known. The Star Maker is as cold and distant as the mountain itself, leaving Aurora to explore his enchanted castle alone. Yet, the more she discovers about the sorcerer, the stronger her attraction grows, pulling her closer to the secrets he refuses to share. But as deadly frost approaches, and Aurora must uncover what the Star Maker is hiding before she's left in an endless winter that even the sun cannot touch. I'm so excited for this. Honestly, it feels like one of those books, though, that I should not read right now. Oh, is that supposed to happen? I'm surprised there's no end pages on the backside. Like, we've got I'm shocked. That's not, you know, a typical fairyloot problem to have, but okay, their decision, that's fine. I might switch over to the back cover because it's a little bit more close to the original, and I just really like the original cover. I do think that it's a very pretty book, and I'm happy to have it. A little disappointed that there's no end page art in the back, but that's fine. It's cool. I definitely feel like I need to hold off on reading this until winter. I feel like it's a little bit too late now that it's come out, and now that it's like full spring in Oregon and it's just like beautiful and warm and sunny and the sky is gorgeous. I don't think that this is the right atmosphere and vibe. I think when we get closer to like winter and fall even, I'll probably end up picking this up, which is such a shame because it's probably gorgeous and I'm gonna love it, but I definitely like reading certain books in certain seasons, and I think this might be a really good winter read. And with those out of the way, we can now jump into our final box together. This is the illumicrate, and the February illumicrate theme is a crew of my own. The first thing that I'm seeing is Protection of the Gods coasters, inspired by Godkiller by Hannah Kanner. Oh my god. We haven't gotten coasters in a while, and I love this. I need you guys to hold me accountable and like yell at me more often, because the amount of times that I say I'm gonna read something and then I don't, and then I'm mad at myself. I've had Faithbreaker sitting next to me on my TBR cart for so long, and I can never fit it into like a purpose for reading besides like just wanting to read it, but I keep saying that I'll read it and then I just like don't get to it because other things take priority, and I'm just sad about it. I want to read it so bad. I want to finish the series strong. Oh, these are so precious. I think this might be my favorite coaster design that we've gotten, where it has like a little lip. Obviously not every mug or cup will fit on it, but I do think that it's very fancy. These are so pretty though. I definitely prefer this one more than the God Ocean guy. But they are still very cool, very nice. Love. Very into these. And the next thing we have is Until the Last Star bookmark set, inspired by the Illuminate files. Ooh. So I have... No. Wait. Yes? I have an interest in reading these books. And obviously, if I do read these books, I will be borrowing them from my library if I'm unable to find the books ever secondhand. Because, you know, the whole like Jay Kristoff of it all, I'm not super interested in. But I've heard nothing but fantastic things about this series, and I would just really like to get into it and know about it, and I love the like whole mixed media of it all. I'm just very intrigued. So this is the bookmark set. They're all characters from the series who I do not know, but am loving to see. I really like these character bookmark sets. I think that it's so fun that we get so many, and there's so many characters. And I just really appreciate it. I like seeing character art because I have a hard time visualizing what characters look like often. But I just think it's very cool. Look at all these faces. The next thing we have is The Great Cave of Sokrota Blanket, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. This might be the nicest blanket we've ever been given. I think it might be too big for me to show you guys. It's just as thin as the other fleece blankets, but it seems so much bigger. There's no way that I can show this whole thing to you. Is it cool? Did you get the vibe? Did you see it? It's one of those downsides to showing you things is it's just too big. But I think I'm gonna put this on my bed tonight. I really like this blanket. And the last thing we have is a book that I've never heard of before. So this is Salt Suscept. Am I stupid? Is that right? By Catalina Watt. Look at that. Look at him. I love him. I'm so into this. I love this vibe so much. I've never heard of this. I am very intrigued. A ragtag crew, a perilous quest. First, they need a boat. Next, they need to learn how to sail it. A pirate faces the gallows drop. A farmer is given a terrible ultimatum to save her daughter. An acolyte ascends to priesthood, only to find that the blessing really can be a curse. These unlikely bedfellows band together with an inscrutable pickpocket and a talking otter cat in pursuit of the most hopeless of causes, to sail to the maelstrom, a raging whirlpool from which no one has ever escaped, to find the mysterious treasure hidden within. The quest will test their fragile allegiance to its limits, but there is more at stake here than getting rich. The magic of the world is in peril, and the barrier between life and death has never been so thin. And in the bastion, the seat of power in Paranish, the queen has an unquenchable thirst that threatens the world and everyone in it. Can there be honor amongst thieves? Without it, they might never see another sunrise. Lush and lyrical, Salt Swept, there we go, is a vibrant debut, the first book in an epic fantasy duology, inspired by the Southeast Asian mythology. I'm so excited. I love Amin al-Sarafi. It is maybe one of the greatest books that I have read in a few years. Like, it's just such a perfect voyaging pirate type story, and I think this could potentially be a good close second. I'm very intrigued. I love having a little ragtag crew. It just gives me such like cozy vibes, even if the story is so far from being cozy. Especially if we're gonna meet this little octopus guy in the back. Like, if this guy becomes a friend, a win in my book. I think this is just such a pretty cover too. I really like the tones, the colors, the style. I just, oh, so into it. Okay, but, oh my goodness. That there concludes all of the books in the unboxing this month. Happy late February to you all. I hope that the sun is coming out if you are in the northern hemisphere and spring is bringing good vibes to you. Let's do the ranking of where I think these books are going to land on my personal rating scale. So, in classic ranking fashion, I think the bottom of the barrel has to be the book that I have read, which is A Stage Set for Villains. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. I think it was a very like solid story. I enjoyed the premise. I love the atmosphere. I think the atmosphere really nails it on the head. It was so cool. It was so theater kid. I really enjoyed a lot of this book, a lot of the things going for it. I think it was the characters that just didn't quite hit for me. So that makes this our base, where I don't think any book will necessarily be below this. So I think it's going to be our base. So I think technically the bottom of our list is going to be The Body by Brittany C. Morrow. I just am not sure how I feel about this. I think there's been so much promo and hype towards it that I kind of got desensitized to it, and it just feels like potentially another domestic thriller. So I'm not like sure how this fits into the horror category and what really makes it unique and special. So I'm kind of just like meh towards it at this moment. I haven't seen any reviews come in for it. Hopefully I can make this quick so you don't have to hear the lawnmower too much. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Next, I think unfortunately is going to be Salt Swept, which, you know, makes sense to me now. But I think Salt Swept is going to be the next just because I had not heard of it until today. So I don't have a lot of like hype backing it. So for that reason, I'm going to put it next on the list. And then I think next, I think for the purpose of it just not being the right atmosphere in my life because we're going into spring and it's beautiful, I think The Sun and the Star Maker is next. If you ask me in November, December, when it starts getting cold and chilly and it's like almost on the verge of snowing all the time, this might be higher, but for where I'm at right now in the weather, it's just not gonna hit the same way. So I'm gonna be putting this off for a really long time, which I try not to do. So for that reason, I guess it's gonna go next. Even though, again, Rachel Griffin, I've never given her books lower than 4 stars and I've always enjoyed them, and I just love everything that she writes and does, so I have like really high expectations. Next, I think I'm gonna put Weaving Shot, because I'm gonna be honest, the synopsis like wasn't long enough for me to really grasp more of what's to come. I am intrigued by it. I'm very excited for it. I definitely think that it could be 5 stars, but compared to the other two, I just don't know if it's quite as high up there, you know? And then following that, we're gonna put the Poet Empress. I don't remember where I put this in the ranking last time, but I do think it was pretty high, so for that reason, that's going to be the next. And then on the top, honestly, if you had asked me before Covers with Cassidy had mentioned this, it might not have been quite as high. It wasn't like super high on my radar. It was one that I was interested in, but was not this excited for. But Covers with Cassidy has really hyped it up, and now I'm like, I can't wait to get into it, you know? So for that reason, we've got Half City at the tippy top. Could this stack change any given day? Absolutely. I also just really appreciate how gorgeous this all looks together. Like, that's just very nice. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you are interested in some of these picks. Let me know if you read any of them or if I should prioritize them differently than I have on the stack here. And I will see you guys in the next video very soon. Bye!